Hey everybody, Dr. Dan here, and this is the 6th video in my series of Ready for Anything, which was really a series intended to help you with course design, a new way of thinking about your course, and showing you a best practice that I use for course design. Now, again, what you do might be different. You might not do it the exact same way. That's fine. My hope is that food for thought, that you get something out of this series that you find useful or that you didn't know before. I know that we're all at a different place in our comfort level with teaching online or teaching face-to-face, and we're all at a different place as far as technology goes. We do things different ways, and it's important to know that there's no one right way. But I'm just showing you something that makes it easy for me. So in our last couple of videos, I talked way too long about my syllabus schedule, and then I showed you how to take your syllabus schedule and use that as a layout device for your online class. And then after that, we started building our learning objects, which in this case, we built a couple of mini quizzes, we built a couple of discussions, or actually we made the placeholders. We didn't really build them out. And we talked about this idea of either getting all the quizzes made up front, then getting all the discussions made up front is one way to go, or to make them up as you get to them in modules is another way to go. If you're rushed for time, if you're handed a course 2 weeks before school starts, a lot of this is out the window. You're struggling to get Module 1 done before students see it. Same with Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. So sometimes our schedule dictates how we do course layout. But in a perfect world, or a near perfect world, this is a decent way to sit down and do it. And you'll notice that I do everything so I can do something in like a 25-minute sitting. So if I'm unmotivated, I don't want to work on my course, falls a long way away, I may just create the modules one day. Doesn't require any thought, takes me about 20 minutes. The next day I might just say, you know what, I'm going to do quizzes today. Again, it's the way I do it. In the last video, we were talking about home pages and how useful they are. And if you remember, we created a bunch of module home pages in the pages area, and then we dropped them into these modules. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how important a home page is to a module. And it's really important because students now are looking at your course on the phone. That's what they're doing. So, if they're in the middle of a shift at work, or they're out to get a coffee, or they're taking care of their kids, and it's like, oh my God, what do I need to do this week for my healthcare class? Then it's nice if they can see everything in one spot on their phone, and that's why I like this technique. So what we're looking at here is the blank module homepage that we created for Module 2, and we did that in the last video. And so let's just kind of go back. It's blank. I'm going to show you the elements of a good module homepage, and I've been using this for a long time, and my students seem to really like it because things are organized and concise. So I'm going to flip over to another class so I don't have to spend time making it. So here's a pretty typical module homepage for me, and this is my Module 2 of a different class. And here are the elements. I have a to-do list right up front. Even though it's on the syllabus, even though it's probably on their calendar, even though they should know, it doesn't hurt to put it right in front of them. I think it should be the first thing they see in a module. And if they're looking at this page on their phone, it lays out very nicely. It's a responsive page. So I have my to-do list. Watch the video below, read the module notes, take the mini quiz, and browse the full ACA law. And that's a document that's in my Canvas course. So we need to make sure we deal with these documents also. Underneath the to-do list, I have Module 2 objectives. I have been using this method for a long time where I list my course objectives here, and then when I create my mini quiz, I make sure it covers my course objectives. Again, it's a low stakes thing, but it's a way to get your brain organized, and it's a way to practice backward design because you already know what your course objectives are. So now you're working backwards to say, okay, I want to make sure my students list at least 3 major provisions of the Affordable Care Act. Well, if that's a module objective for my course, then you can bet on my mini quiz for Module 2, I have that question. I make it really easy. Here are the objectives. Here's where I assess them in the quiz. Everything's laid out that way. It makes life really easy for me. Again, a lot of your classes are a ton more complicated than this 1 hour course, but you can start to think about ways you can assess things and how your course design is dictated by the module objectives. And I can tell you the other thing, when you look at module objectives, I say that there are these 3 objectives. I really don't need to cover anything else in this module. I don't need to have them read a chapter that is not related. I don't need to have them do an exercise that doesn't accomplish these objectives. If I can accomplish these objectives by some readings and then assess it by a mini quiz, I'm good to go. So I have my objectives listed here, and then I have my intro video for the module. And you should have an intro video for every module, even if it's just 2 minutes and you're going to talk about what you're going to cover that week. Or you're going to talk about, hey, here are the questions that students always get wrong on this quiz, so pay attention to this. Whatever you want to do, but have a short video every week. It's really important because it indicates to the students that there's actually a person back there, and it works really well. So there we have our video, and then also we have our module notes. Now again, everyone's different. You may not have module notes at all. In most of my classes, I don't use textbooks. I kind of write the text, or I write the chapter as I go. And so I have these reading notes or module notes in every module, which is basically the text material that I created. So again, these are the elements of a good module homepage. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next video.